Hi, this is David Muty of EffectivelySpeaking.com and ThreeSimpleConcepts.com, and we're talking about the fear of public speaking. This is video number 2. Why does my fear take over even when I know it's not logical? But first, about this presentation. It's not going to be fancy. It will be loaded with content that you can use right now to start overcoming your fear of public speaking. But it's your responsibility to decide where to apply that content. I would encourage you to watch the videos in order because they build upon each other. So if you haven't already done so, please watch video number 1. It's titled, Use Paradigms to Overcome Your Fear of Public Speaking, and you can find it at threesimpleconcepts.com/videos. A quick summary. In video number 1, I emphasized strongly that you can overcome your fear with less effort than you thought possible. In fact, that's what happened to me. I was forced to speak in public. My employment was dependent on it. My employer was facing bankruptcy, and I needed to make some business contacts fast. I wanted to get to a software conference, but I could not afford the admission fee. Fortunately, speakers got in for free. I didn't like speaking, but I did not like being unemployed more. I learned as much as I could about public speaking and delivered the presentation. I was surprised by the positive feedback. I went on to learn more about public speaking and then started applying knowledge from other fields to public speaking. I came up with a method of overcoming the fear. It worked for me, and it worked for others that I'd helped. I wrote some articles about what I discovered and published them on slightly related sites. People found me because of those sites and asked me for more information. As a result, I created EffectivelySpeaking.com and then went on to create 3 Simple Concepts to Overcoming Your Fear of Public Speaking, a course that encapsulates this method. Can you overcome your fear with less effort than you thought possible? Well, I'd encourage you to watch this video and then decide for yourself. Now, in the last video, we talked about paradigm shifts. That is, consciously changing the way we perceive our situation. Now we're going to talk about the subconscious. Now, the subconscious is part of the section or the concept called How the Mind Works in 3 Simple Concepts. And the subconscious mind really looks after what you're not thinking about right now. So you're not thinking about your breathing. You're not thinking about your body temperature. You're not thinking about your heart rate. That's all being regulated by the subconscious. But in addition to that, it manages your core beliefs and your core values, who you identify yourself as. And finally, associations. If this happens, then the subconscious expects something else to happen. For instance, usually when we're young, we learn not to touch hot things. If I touch a hot thing, I feel pain. That's an association. And these associations are especially strong with pain, fear, and danger. The subconscious is why we can jump out of the way of danger. For instance, a speeding car coming towards us. We jump out of the way without even thinking about what's going on. The subconscious takes priority, overrides the conscious thinking, and gets us out of danger. But the subconscious can also perceive fear when it's not there. For instance, if you're watching a frightening movie, you're sitting in a movie theater and you know you're perfectly safe logically, but your heart rate goes up, you may jump at a point, or you may start perspiring. That's the subconscious kicking in. That same fear can take over when we know logically that public speaking is not something to be afraid of. So your subconscious is not logical. Your subconscious will kick in and take over and override everything every time it senses what it thinks is danger. Its idea of danger is these associations that it's formed over the years, and those include speaking. It fears speaking, so it kicks in and takes over. So in order to overcome our fear, we need to conquer both the conscious, the logical, and the subconscious. And this is why many programs fail. They fail to address both aspects. Let's take a look at the subconscious and how a very easy to understand concept can make a huge difference in our effectiveness. I do occasionally use illusions to illustrate points, but I'm not an illusionist. I only use them, so I'm not the best at doing this trick. Now, I must apologize about how my hands look. They seem transparent. I believe some of the video sharing sites are using a compression algorithm that causes this, but you still get the point from the illusion. It doesn't matter how much pressure I put on you or how much pressure you put on yourself. You'll not be able to replicate what I just did simply by squeezing hard on a silk. It's time to understand what is actually happening. The illusion is easy once you know how it works. Overcoming your fear of public speaking is the same. It becomes much easier once you understand all the factors that are contributing to your fear. For instance, your subconscious. There are many factors that influence the subconscious. One of the ones that we look at is that of social proof. Now, in terms of teenagers, we refer to it as peer pressure. But adults are heavily influenced by what their peers are doing as well. For example, assisting others in times of crisis. Often, if there's a serious accident, adults will mill around, watching, looking to each other for cues as to how to respond, rather than just getting in and helping. So how do we apply this to public speaking? Well, how do other people's thoughts and comments about public speaking affect you? Are you surrounded by people who talk about how easy public speaking is, or how frightening it is? One reason public speaking is our greatest fear is because it's our greatest fear. We're constantly talking about it, constantly acknowledging it. So stop allowing the negative influence. Let me ask you, which sports team would you join? The one that says, we can win? Or the one that says, we will never win? Choose who you will surround yourself with when it comes to discussing public speaking. You've already started doing this by visiting effectivelyspeaking.com and or watching this video. But make a positive decision. Seek out positive influence. Join groups and discussions that have a positive view of public speaking. Talk to people who do a good job of it and find public speaking easy. Or be extremely effective. Start influencing those conversations yourself. Let the people who are talking about public speaking know that you've discovered some concepts that make overcoming your fear very possible. Share these videos with them. Even let them know about social proof and how talking positively can impact their subconscious. And remember, the subconscious, it's always listening and learning. Give it a positive message. Here's one approach. If someone says to you something along the lines of, I'm terrified of public speaking, ask him or her if they want to remain that way or if they'd like to know a few thoughts that have been helping you. If they answer yes, you have the opportunity to share some thoughts with them and turn the social proof to a positive influence for yourself and for them. If they say no, they'll probably stop talking about the subject anyway, and you'll have stopped the negative influence. Even be proactive. Talk to people who have previously told you about their fear. Let them know about the progress you're making. Your subconscious will benefit from the social proof, and so will theirs. Where to go from here? Just as in the first video, make a commitment. It will make a big difference to you in following through and really effectively changing your fear of public speaking. Listen to the next media selection. It will be interviews with people who have benefited from 3 simple concepts, sharing techniques that help them and how to apply them for yourself. And finally, I asked you to decide for yourself whether you felt you could overcome your fear with less effort than you ever thought possible. Have a look at 3 simple concepts to overcoming your fear of public speaking and decide for yourself.